felt so official. Kind of bigger brother.
Yeah, right.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Look, I am doing fine now that I have stopped boohooing, okay, over the most recent episode of the show. It was just, it's too much for me. It's nice to feel emotionally exhausted for good reasons. So, but I wanted, seriously, I was just like, you know what? They just really didn't want to torture us this season. They just wanted us to be happy and just live through everyone. I'm here for this. I'm here for it. But one of the first things that I wanted to ask you is really that entire episode. Like, first of all, you were so fantastic. Just seeing the interactions with June, I was just like, I need a bestie like Moira in my life. But I really wanted to ask you, what was that reunion like? Actually being able to shoot with Elizabeth, like for present day with both of your characters. It's been so long.
It's been so long. And I mean, it was wonderful to be able to be on set with Lizzie. It was awesome. I mean, she's such a reliable scene partner. She always elevates a scene to the next level. She shows me things that I'm like, wait, where was that in the script? You just bringing that into it, okay? She's just such an amazing person to be to share the screen with. But in terms of Moira, you know, returning to June, it's a different June that Moira comes back to. You know, she's I really love the flashback scenes that they have decided to that the writers put into the episode. Because there's one, you know, where they're just it's ease, they're sitting on the couch, they're just like gonna have like a cool Sunday. And the other one there's a little dissonance there. But it doesn't matter because they're still Moira and June, and they still come back to each other, and we know that that's in the past, and let everything always still just comes back to who they are. But now this is challenging that, right? June, we don't even know if June is the same June. There's a part of the episode that June doesn't even really recognize who Moira is. So it's interesting to have this be the reunion episode because it's not the kind of reunion that Moira would have imagined.
Yeah, no, it was great. I was hoping last week, I was like, this better not be a dream or we are going to have some problems. But I was so happy. I was like, thank you so much. But it's interesting that you talk about how June has changed because I really feel like Moira is so different from how we first met her at the beginning of the series. And that's really, I feel as though Moira is really trying to face her past so she can really move forward in her future. And I want to ask you because, you know, everyone keeps asking, why do you feel like it's your personal mission to bring June back? Almost as if that's going to kind of reset everything for your character. Can you talk a little bit more about that? Like, is this reunion, is this really the signaling for Moira's future that she can finally like move forward now that June's back?
I believe that Moira definitely believes that is the truth. I believe that Moira has done everything in her life in Canada to try and move forward. She has this ease of a relationship with Luke. They're co-parenting of June's daughter Nicole. There's the new relationship that she has with her girlfriend Una. There are all of these beautiful lights in her life, things that are completely different from Gilead, things that she has come to know as easy. And there, on the other side, is guilt on her part for having left Moira on that episode in season one where she leaves her on the train platform. Um, I think ever since then, Moira has felt like she can't be complete and her life can't be complete until she gets June back. And not only gets her back, but literally rescues her from what she left her in when they parted ways. I'm not sure how true that is, but for Moira, that is very true. It is. I think we can see very clearly in that episode that I mean I kind of feel like Moira she would even go to like knocking her over the head and making her unconscious and dragging her on the boat just because she knows that she cannot leave without that because that piece for Moira is going to make her whole. We will see in the next few episodes if that is actually the truth or not. But Moira has definitely changed, and I think for the better. She's healed a lot from being in Canada. The trauma that she went through in Gilead is not as fresh as the trauma that June has gone through. So they are on two very opposite sides.
I love that you bring that up because trauma is such a huge topic in the season, especially as, we get into later episodes where we finally see June. It's kind of like all of the characters are waiting for this bomb to drop in June to really deal with everything that has happened to her over these past couple of seasons. But it's more interesting seeing the relationship with Moira, who has really become someone who has helped people live through that trauma as someone who's escaped Gilead. And so I really want you to speak more about that journey for Moira and more about her helping other people work through their trauma throughout the course of the season.
Yeah, I wonder if every single person that Moira has helped has been a proxy for June, has been because that I think really is Moira's focus. She has been through so much, as as we have seen, and she has, I think, through, I mean, in season two we really see her trying to find the ways to heal herself, and not always getting that right. But she has found healing in helping other people. But I feel like, and I know that Moira, in every single person that she helps, whether that is a refugee who is trying to reintegrate into normal life in Little America, which we now have in Canada, whether it's one of the children who was on Angel's Flight, who June orchestrated to come into Canada, I think all of those people for Moira are little bits of June. That, like, maybe if she helps this person, she can somehow get to June. And that's her journey. I think that truly the end goal for me when I think about playing Moira is every single thing that I do is about one day getting June back. And so this Moira's entire journey, the culmination of that is in episode 6, and we will also see play out through the rest of season 4. It's a doozy.
You better break it down for us real quick. I saw that full circle that you just gave us. More was in love. We got to talk about this love because we are on the rocks right now, and I'm sad about. I'm so sad about it. I'm sad about it. But it's weird because when everyone talks about like just watching, it's like everyone has to sacrifice everything for June in order to be able to get her. Can you speak more towards that relationship and really the decision? Because I know deep down inside, Moira has to know that this is going to have serious consequences of bringing June back to Canada with her. And so can you speak more about that in terms to the relationship that is on the rocks that I'm hoping it will heal and come back together?
Well, I think in the same thing when I was talking about before with Moira's activism and stuff, I don't think Moira does too much, like, think too much before she does things. I think she does and then thinks about it later. In terms of the consequences that may have may play out in terms of her bringing her on the boat and all those things, and some of the consequences that we already see in that episode, they're not things that Moira thought about before she got her on there. There's a scene where, Una is telling her about the port inspection that is going to happen. And Moira's face literally is like, wait, what? Port inspection? I didn't know that was going to happen. But she didn't even think about it because she only had one thing on her mind. And that's why, I mean, honestly, I gotta love Moira for that, because she does things with her heart. She does things that she knows that are going to be right before she really thinks about the consequences. Sometimes, to her detriment. But like you said, it is going to be something that we have already seen that is going to test the limits of her relationship with Una. Una has, this is Una's mission. Una has gathered all of these people together. This is her whole operation. And in, I think, the previous episode or one before, when she's sitting on the step eating like Chinese food with Una says, you could come with me if you wanted to. So, like, this is supposed to be like a little romantic gesture, like, come be with me, boo, and then I come and I mess up truly her entire operation. Of course, if I were to think about it, if Moira were to think about it, she would be able to understand that. But I'm not sure if it would even matter, because, like I said, I think that even that rescuing June probably even trumps what even though she knows this is a good thing with Una, I believe that June still trumps that. Because June, this is where I'm gonna go now. June, honestly, I think the way she comes into she consumes every
Yeah.
single person's life. So I do believe that even if Moira were to think about it, she would still make the decision. But I think that she has to actively not think about it in order to protect and preserve herself.
Yeah, look, Moira is the true definition of a ride or die. Even though I was side-eyeing her, she was like, "We can't talk in the office, sis. Do you know what you just did? Like, what is happening?" But I really want to know now that Moira has completed this task that she's really set out all these seasons since she's left Gilead. What is your hope for Moira in the future? Like in future seasons, what is your hope for her, your character?
I, you know, I remember so clearly people asking me that last season, and the thing that I said more than anything is I just wanted her to find some love, um, and that happened. So hopefully, writers, you're listening to whatever I said now. Um, but there's just something so lovely about her finding that ease, her finding something that she loves to do, which is helping people, and her finding someone to love, which, I mean, hopefully it's still Una, and we'll see if that works out or not. But I think that overall, I just want something to be easy for Moira. Everything has been so hard. Everything has been so hard for every single person in this show, but we talking about Moira. So I really want something to be easy for her. Um, it just sounds so nice, and I think she deserves it.
Look, she deserves it all. We are manifesting. It's already done. It is going to happen for Moira. I'm claiming it now. But thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. Like I said, you were so fantastic in this week's episode. I can't wait for everyone to see what else you have in store for us. But I appreciate you, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, love. Thank you so much. This was wonderful.
This is great. Thank you so much. You made my day. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.